spent the entire month of March and April.
Yes.
Months of March and April trying to convince people to not cash in their money. Ramsey personalities did 458 media hits in those 2 months.
That's right.
And the primary message was stay calm.
Yep.
Don't pull your investments out.
That's exactly right. Did a ton of them. Things were bad, Dave.
They were scary.
It was tough. And we tell them to stay true. Follow the process. We've been here before.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass. We've been here before.
You don't get hurt on a roller coaster if you don't jump off in the middle of the ride.
That's right. We went back and talked about 9/11, talked about the SARS epidemic, the 07 to 09 depression, recession.
Y2K.
We gave them history.
Black Monday in 1987. The days that the stock market fell and the people were screaming and carrying on.
That's right.
And we tried not to shame them or make fun of them during the times that they were the most scared, but just calm them down and say, don't take your money out, because if you sell at the bottom, you're going to feel stupid when this recovers. And it's going to recover. And it's going to recover this fall.
We did.
That's what I said.
No,
you can go back and pull the podcast. Dave Ramsey said it. I will be back in the fall.
That's right.
And you're going to feel stupid if you took your money out.
I remember you saying it. What if you found out? You seem to know something.
Well, we're sitting here both looking at the same article. Of course I know something.
Come on.
The S&P closes at a record, erasing all of the last pandemic losses. The S&P 500 caps a furious 51.5% rally that began in late March and set a new record today, recovering over 100% of any losses that it lost during the pandemic since February 19th. So from February 19th down into March, into late March, it dove and dove and dove and dove and dove and dove. And by today, and it's not even fall.
Nope.
100% recovered. Wow. So far. Will it go down again?
Yes.
Yeah, sure will.
Sure will.
Will it go up again?
Yes.
Change is the only thing you can count on. And this is where investing comes in. It's where, it requires being a grown-up and not a crying little sucking your thumb little kindergartner in the corner. That's okay if you're a kindergartner. It's not okay if you're an adult.
That's
it doesn't
right.
work.
No, you're right.
And this thing, you have got to have a vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. You've got to look out into the future, and you've got to say, is the pandemic or Y2K or 911 recovered in 57 days? I haven't counted up the number of days yet, but from the bottom of this, probably not far off.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about 50-something days, maybe 60-something days. And I'll have to go back and look at when the bottom was, but that's about what it was. But the fear, I want you folks listening to remember how tight your throat was, how your stomach was halfway up into your chest, how your heart was beating, how you were checking your 401k balances every morning like you were checking COVID cases and like you were looking for a tornado to come at your house. You're looking on the Weather Channel at the number of COVID cases in your state, the number of COVID cases in your county, and you're looking at your stock market go down, and you were addicted to fear.
Yeah.
Because that's what you were sold for a lack of vision. The people perish. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying I told you so. And so you've got to learn these lessons. Part of maturity is being able to look past what's going on and take what looks like a disaster and say it is temporary.
Yes.
It is temporary.
Yeah.
It is temporary. It is temporary. It could take 2 years to come back. It could take 2 months to come back. But will the pandemic completely destroy the U.S. economy? Is the logical, critical thinking skill you have to develop.
No.
Well, it didn't. It's 100% back as of Tuesday. The S&P 500 closes at a record, erasing last of pandemic losses. Wall Street clawed back the last of the historic frenzied losses unleashed by the coronavirus as the S&P 500 closed at an all-time high Tuesday. The benchmark index notched up a modest 0.2% gain to beat its previous record high set on February the 19th before the pandemic shut down businesses around the world and knocked economies into their worst recessions in decades. Well, that's an overstatement. It's not the worst recession in decades. It might be one of the shortest recessions in decades, but it's not the worst. A worse one is one that goes on and 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 on. We lost 40 million jobs. 20 million of them are already back to work. And some of the ones that aren't back to work don't want to be for different reasons right now because they're collecting so dadgum much money.
By not working, right. Yeah.
And so, we got the government interference in our economy, and you see what happened with that. So, guys, there are lessons to be learned in these kinds of things. They're spiritual lessons, they're emotional lessons, they're financial lessons, they're wealth-building lessons. And you've got to start looking at this stuff and go, really, where are we today?
Yeah.
And we kept saying, what did we say? Dr. John Deloney said, facts are your friends.
Yep.
You do not make good decisions when you're drunk and when you're afraid.
Well, it's really important to remind yourself as you look at this and see this article and to hear this and to know it. And I think, the lessons that we go through, we get a chance to learn from them. And when you apply wisdom, it becomes knowledge, right? And wisdom for yourself. But just hear this and understand it. And then start to grow in understanding this process of investing of what's going on. But for goodness sakes, don't rely on the media to give you your reality. You've got to keep your hand on the pulse and know what's going on.
Well, the reality was the stock market was going down.
Mm-hmm.
But the what the media was telling you was that the world was coming to an end.
Right.
Chicken Little is here. The pandemic is going to ravage the planet. It is Ebola. Everyone's going to die. 2 million people are going to die. They don't teach math in med school, apparently.
No.
So there we go. And, it's just the whole thing is, well, I'm so happy that these companies have recovered because that means the jobs are coming back, and that means the folks that need a job and want a job and are willing to work are going to have a place to work.
They have a place to go. Yeah, I agree.
Once they get out of their home.
Right.
And once their economy starts to open up and so forth. I'm in such a bubble because we've been back to work here with 1,000 of us in this building for months.
Mm-hmm.
We were working from home for about 5 weeks. And since then, we've all been back. We've not had a positive case in the building since July the 19th. And so about a month. And now without a single positive case. Out of 1,000 people, we had 17. So 1.7% got the COVID flu at one time or another. 0 deaths.
Right.
And we're all at work. And we're with each other every day. Our cafe is open. And we're not being completely reckless unless you do it by some of your standards, who are people, and some of you haven't left your home yet. So, and yes, I am making fun of you. So it's time to come out of your cave. It's time to come out of your cave, America. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.